rocking out, man.
We
What's the
have
buzz?
Julie with us, Julie Jo Larson, with your book, 100 Things to Do in Minnesota, right?
That's right. Hi, welcome. Thank you.
Magnificent to have you. So, yeah, what's the name of the book again?
Well, actually, I have two books. The
Two
newest
books,
is
okay.
100 Things to Do in Minnesota Before You Die. The first
Okay.
one was 100 Things to Do in Minnesota Northwoods Before You Die.
So it had to be in the North Woods. Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
It all. Oh, so you live up in the North Woods,
Yeah, I live just outside of Brainerd now.
Oh, okay.
right outside. Oh,
Like I grew
that's
up
a
in New
nice area.
Ulm, so I travel the whole state still. It's just a lot of fun going north to south and seeing everything that I can see. So my publisher allows me to write about the whole state.
Well, that's the ticket. I grew up actually. I was actually born in Long Prairie, Minnesota, which is not that far from Brainerd, actually. I mean, it's a
No, it's
ways, but
near Eagle Bend.
it is indeed. But I was born there. I lived there until I was, I think, one, and then we
Oh,
moved down to Minneapolis. So but we still went up to Long Prairie all the time to visit my grandparents. They both sets of grandparents lived up. Well, I shouldn't say both sets because my one
Right.
grandfather was a complete bum. But in any case,
Well, we were just over there, was that 2 years ago? It wasn't three already. No, there's no way.
it might be. It's been a while.
Yeah, we were up there visiting. She was your great aunt? What was
Yeah.
she?
Oh, do you mean Mary Ann?
Yeah,
She was my aunt. This is
just
my
your aunt. Okay.
dad's sister. Yep.
Dad's sister. All right.
I
Yeah, I don't know how
adored
much. I
her.
don't know a whole lot about that side of the family.
Absolutely adored that woman. There's no question about it. She was just she and her husband too, and her husband died very young, unfortunately. Well, why don't we get on more positive stripe here? But that is true. I did lose my uncle. He was just, God, Larry Levine. What a great guy. Anyway, moving forward. So what's in your wallet? What are you working on?
well, I've got these two books out right now. I'm working on the third book. It's called Secret Minnesota, A Guide to the Weird, Wonderful, and Obscure.
Okay.
So far, I've got just over 6,000 miles put on this year for research, traveling across the state looking for the unusual oddities that we have here in Minnesota.
Oh, see now this is interesting. What's that all about?
Well, I found a up in Coleraine is a Raven Cove Abbey. It's an old church that's been redone. It's you walk in and there's this cute, quaint little coffee shop, and you go a little further and there's a restaurant and a bar. You go down just a couple steps and they have maybe 5 stations of axe throwing.
Okay.
Joseph is from Hungary and his wife Sue is from the United States. But when Joseph grew up, axe throwing was just a part of their culture in Hungary, and he wanted to bring it to Coleraine. It's the cutest little church you can imagine with stone. Edgar Allan Poe would be perfect in there. And they even have a secret bookcase that when you hit a button and open it up, there's a marvelous wine cooler behind it.
Okay, there you go. Now you're talking. How did you get involved at the very? Have you always been curious about these things?
Yeah, I've always liked the unique and the unusual. I grew up in New Ulm, way down in southern Minnesota. My
Yep.
mom's the oldest of 11. We did not travel as kids because obviously with 30 cousins, all we did was go from house to house.
Yep.
You got your own softball team, kickball team. You don't
Yep.
really need to travel. But when I met my husband, who was from Brainerd, we just started running across the state. And then we had kids, and you take the kids to games or you take them to vacations and things. When the kids left, I formed a group of women called the Mystorians. And we love searching out history and unique and unusual places. So on weekends, we hop in somebody's car and we go. Um, Sometimes it's an overnight, sometimes it's just a few hours, but we found it to be really a rewarding way of touring Minnesota.
Oh, I understand that 100% because from the time I was, I believe, 11 years old, I was in a rock band, And so we kind of spiraled out. Your spiral gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So we'd appear at all these different places. And then later in life, I would just search places out, like you mentioned, New Ulm. Had a nice brewery there. I don't know if it's still there or not.
It is the oldest brewery in Minnesota.
That's what I
And
thought.
yep,
Yeah.
Shell's
Wow.
is there. They
Shells is still
also
there.
it. Oh my gosh, it is. You have to go. It is
It's great.
so huge. Their Oktoberfest is probably like maybe the fifth largest in the United States. It's massive.
Huh.
Yep. Yep. When I was, I believe, about 17 or 18, I was in a marching band with all the parades and all that stuff. I was one of the
Yeah.
drummers. And we came down to New Ulm every year. We'd come to New Ulm and do the celebration. It was wonderful.
You were probably part of Heritage Fest back then.
I think that's right. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And
The
that kind of
greatest.
evolved. Oh, neat. So you have a lot of interesting memories of New Ulm then.
Oh, I do. There's no question about it. One thing I will tell you about traveling around, whether it's from, you know, East Grand Forks, which is in Minnesota, not in Grand Forks, North Dakota, to Duluth, down to New Ulm, down to Mankato, all these places. We used to travel all of those towns playing in that marching band. And I got to tell you, people that I met, and this is many, many years ago, but they couldn't have been more pleasant. They were like, hey, thanks for coming to our town. It was really nice of you to come. I mean, that's really just sweet. I love that.
They are very genuine. Even today, New Ulm is still really heavy into the German culture. You know, you've got, of course, the
Oh, yeah.
brewery and
Yep.
the Glockenspiel, phenomenal ribs at the Kaiserhof, the big Herman German statue.
Herman German. That's right.
I mean, it
Yep.
hasn't changed a lot since I was a kid. The big difference is when I was younger, if you would go down on the street corner, you would hear German every single day.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's not so much, but if you go to the Domeyer's Little German store and you go in and gift shop or something, you're still going to hear some German.
God,
So
isn't that wonderful? Well, I gotta be honest with you. My father was English. He was born in America, but he was English, and my mother was German, and they never got along. Not one day can I remember when those two got along. And then all of a sudden he was just gone one day when I was a very little boy. And I mean, it was that it's interesting you bring that up because I don't think people understand just about 50, 60, 70 years ago, Minnesota was nowhere near as closely knit as it is today. Not even close.
no, even from those small towns, New Ulm, Hanska, Lafayette, each one of those communities, sometimes you would have a very distinct culture. And in New Ulm, the big joke was, our diversity was, are you German Catholic or are you German Lutheran?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I was
that's
like
true.
that when I was a kid.
And then I went ahead and I married a Lutheran Scandinavian.
Oh
So,
God.
yeah, hence why I'm not living in New Ulm now, but it's okay. But each little community does get its very distinct culture. Up here in the Northwoods, you can drive 10 miles and you're going to be in a Finnish community, and then a little bit further, you've got the Danes and the Swedes and the Norwegians, and there are still those very heavy pockets where the culture and the food and some of those customs are still practiced a lot.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's again being in that marching band, going to all these different communities and eating the different foods and meeting the different kinds of people. They were not a lot alike. People think, oh, they're all Minnesotans. Minnesotans are not alike from north to south, east to west. They're not a lot alike at all.
We have our similarities, but then we have some
Yep.
very real
Yep.
distinctions.
Oh
I
yeah.
think of the movie Fargo and how people laughed when that came out. I was in New Ulm living, and it can't possibly be like that. Um, I can tell you a couple names of people that would fit in with those characters almost perfectly.
Oh yeah.
So
No, it's true. So, are you going on? Are you going to go on tour? Are you going to travel around the state promoting your book
I will be.
or your books, I should say?
I've been traveling. So the first book came out in 2021. I wrote it the first year of COVID. And that was the 100 Things to Do in Minnesota Northwoods. My copies are trash because I travel so much. I mean,
Okay, we can handle that.
I go to libraries and bookstores and educational places, community organizations. I love promoting Minnesota and also just really getting people to think about how big we are, but then how, you can travel 100 miles and it's so different, not only the scenery, but the people and the food and the beverages. So I love traveling. The next book will come out next fall. It's due to Reedy Press in February, and I'm still trying to decide on the 84 places. This next one only has 84. So it's always a hard thing, behind me on the wall is a map, and I pinpoint every place that I've looked at. And then people email me. You can go to juliejolarson.com and send me a message if you've got something weird and wonderful you want me to look at. I've got a lot of traveling yet to do. I try to go someplace every weekend. So it's just a lot of fun.
Well, that is a good thing. And with your name, you probably run into what, about 50 people every time you travel that have the same name you do?
You're going to die laughing, but you're not going to believe this, but my publisher has another person that writes for them. She only writes for the Twin Cities. Her name is Julie Jo Severson. Two Julie Joes in the same state is unheard of. Two with the same publisher.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that took just a little bit of time to get used to for the publisher. But they keep us apart. It's Julie Jo the Twin Cities, or it's Julie Jo Minnesota.
No, there you go. Okay.
So and that kind of makes it right. But yeah, I don't find very many people with the same full name. Julie Jo is what my grandpa used to call me, so I just keep it and hold it tight to me for his memory. Plus, it differentiates me from, what should have been everyone else writing, because there are a lot of Julies that write. But yeah, we kind of do that. We have a lot of fun with it.
Okay, where's your next appearance?
I am appearing tomorrow at Central Lakes College. They have something called, up here in Brainerd, it's called Cultural Thursday, where the first Thursday of every month they bring in a guest speaker. Last month they had Tommy V's son came in and talked about his dad's music and what it was like growing up with him. I am this month. Sometimes they have people come in and talk about trips they've taken overseas, or the Spanish teacher wrote a book about being bilingual. She traveled a lot to Mexico. So they've got all kinds of things like that there. They offer, but tomorrow I am at Central Lakes College. The program starts at noon and it'll run until a little before 1. There's questions. I'll have some of my books signed and ready. And then I'm appearing a couple times in the next few weeks because, of course, we've got the holiday season starting up. And let me pop that up. Yeah, I'll be at the Arboretum here in Brainerd on the 22nd from 9 until 3. And then I've got a couple more smaller events coming up after that, leading into the holiday season. I've got room for a couple more events. I try not to pack it in too tight in the holidays.
Yeah, sure.
And of course, with weather, the issue sometimes is the roads. It can be clear roads here, and I'll get to New Ulm and I have to turn around because 14's closed or 15's closed. So I always have to pay attention to those. I am booking for next year already off my website. So if there's a library or an organization or someone that needs a speaker, go ahead and go to my website and fill out the form, and I can get back to you.
Great.
And like I said, I'm still looking for some of those weird and wonderful places. This summer, one of the unusual places I found was the Birch Coulee Battlefield. Have you heard of that?
No.
Yeah, it's over by Morton. It was one of the biggest battlefields from the U.S. Dakota War in 1862.
God.
And they have turned it into a phenomenal historic site with wonderful signage, a lot of prairie grasses, just a wonderful learning place to be. Very peaceful. It was just beautiful. I just got back about a month ago. I was in Pipestone for a weekend. Had a lot of fun down there visiting the quarries. Like I said, I was up in Bovey and I saw a 2-story antique mall that's all consignment. That was really cool. I've just been finding, weird little gems that people don't know about, and that's what I like to write about.
Excellent. Well, stay in touch. You got to pop on once in a while. We'd love to have you on again. This stuff is very interesting to me.
It's a lot of fun to travel. It's even more fun though to share it with people and to
Oh,
get
yeah.
them excited
Yep.
about getting out, even for a few hours.
I think
Indeed.
everyone's wondering if their town is represented in the book. Everyone who's
Oh my
listening.
gosh. There are, well, I've only got 100 things in each one of these books.
Hmm.
There's a little bit of overlap, but not much. If somebody's got something cool in their town they want me to check out, by all means, juliejolarson.com, fill out the form, tell me about it, and I'll come on the road and check it out.
Sounds good. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much for being with us
Sure.
today.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Have
You
a good
do.
day.